In a peaceful little village nestled among the green hills of Nepal, there lived a young man named Vijay. He was known by everyone in the village, not because he was loud or attention-seeking, but for something much rarer. No matter what challenges came his way, Vijay never seemed shaken. Whether it was bad weather destroying crops, arguments between neighbors, or sudden misfortunes, he always remained calm and steady. People around him often whispered about his unusual ability to stay so composed, almost as if he had learned how to escape the emotional storms that troubled everyone else. One day, a few curious villagers approached him directly. "Vijay," one of them asked, "how do you stay so calm, no matter what's happening around you? Don't you ever feel overwhelmed?" Vijay smiled gently. There was warmth in his eyes and his voice was calm and sincere. "Let me tell you a story," he said. "It's a journey I took many years ago, and it's the reason I live the way I do today." He began to recall the memory of a day long ago when he was just a boy. Back then, he struggled with his emotions like anyone else. He often felt confused, angry, or sad, especially when life became difficult. One day, feeling restless and overwhelmed, he wandered deep into the forest that surrounded the village. He didn't have a destination in mind. He simply kept walking, hoping to find something or perhaps lose himself in nature. After hours of pushing through dense trees and wild bushes, he came across a small cave hidden behind a curtain of vines. Curious, he stepped closer. Inside, sitting cross-legged in complete stillness, was an old monk. His eyes were closed, and his breathing was so slow and steady that he almost seemed part of the cave itself. Vijay didn't say a word. Something about the moment made him sit down quietly and just watch. Time passed. The sun began to dip lower in the sky. Eventually, the monk opened his eyes and looked at Vijay. His gaze was kind but sharp, as if he could see straight into the boy's heart. "Young one," the monk said gently, "your soul seems noisy, filled with storms you do not understand." Vijay nodded, surprised by how accurate the monk's words were. "Yes, wise one," he replied. "I don't know how to manage my emotions. When things go wrong, I feel like I'm drowning inside." The monk smiled patiently and invited Vijay to sit beside him. From that day on, he began teaching the boy, not with long lectures or complicated ideas, but with simple practices and quiet conversations about the mind and the heart. One of the first things the monk taught Vijay was mindfulness. He explained that emotions are like passing weather, clouds that drift across the sky. Some are dark and heavy, others light and harmless, but none of them last forever. "You are not the sky full of storms," the monk said. "You are the sky itself, vast, still, and unbroken." Vijay practiced this idea every day. He would find a peaceful spot under the shade of a Bodhi tree, sit still, and simply breathe. He didn't try to block his thoughts or force himself to be happy. Instead, he learned to observe everything that came into his mind, his fears, his anger, his joy, and let them pass without grabbing onto them. Over time, something shifted inside him. He began to understand that emotions didn't have to control him. They were real, yes, but temporary. More importantly, they didn't define who he was. As his awareness deepened, the monk taught him another important lesson. Emotional balance didn't mean becoming cold or distant. It didn't mean turning away from others' pain or pretending not to feel. True calm, the monk said, came from caring deeply while remaining steady, being kind without getting lost in the chaos. With this in mind, Vijay began to change. He started listening more carefully when people came to him with their problems. He helped without judging, comforted without becoming overwhelmed, and offered support with a calm, open heart. The villagers noticed. They saw how he remained grounded during difficult times, yet was always willing to lend a hand, speak gently, or share in someone's sorrow. Over the years, Vijay's quiet strength and compassion earned him deep respect. People didn't just admire his calmness, they trusted it. They knew that behind his stillness was a heart full of understanding. And so, when Vijay finished telling his story, the villagers finally understood. His calm wasn't something he was born with. It was something he had learned, through practice, reflection, and kindness. From that day forward, his story spread across the village, not just as a tale of a boy who found peace in the forest, but as a reminder that anyone, with patience and guidance, could do the same. After many years, Vijay had matured into a calm and knowledgeable man. He had turned into a mentor to the locals, guiding them over the rough seas of their own feelings. His comments held the weight of wisdom, and he was frequently asked for counsel. The village was hit by a powerful storm one day, which destroyed the houses and crops. The people's emotions were running high and they were in distress. They looked at Vijay, anticipating that the disaster would disturb him, but Vijay stayed steadfast. He helped the peasants restore their lives and offered them consolation. He clarified that although feelings are a normal aspect of life, one can achieve inner peace by accepting their transience and not holding on to them. The teachings of Vijay reached people all around the world, not just in the village. As a result of his narrative becoming a legend, pilgrims sought his advice in the village. Until the end of his life, Vijay, who was now an old man, kept sharing his knowledge. Vijay ultimately proved that the way to become unemotional was not about repressing emotions, but rather about comprehending them and reacting to them calmly. His legacy endured, serving as a constant reminder that, in the heart of Nepal, empathy, mindfulness, and the understanding that feelings like fleeting clouds will inevitably pass were the keys to emotional equilibrium. As the years passed, Vijay sensed a need to expand his knowledge of inner serenity and emotional disengagement. He made the decision to travel to a remote monastery tucked away in the Himalayan highlands. The monastery's teachings on the deepest facets of the mind and emotions were well known. After saying goodbye to the people who had grown to be like family to him, Vijay set out on his difficult journey across dangerous terrain and inclement weather. He arrived at the remote monastery, which was situated atop a foggy cliff. Sensing his sincere interest in learning, the monks there gave him a warm reception. Vijay met Lee, a knowledgeable and modest master at the monastery. Master Lee has dedicated his life to studying the complex inner workings of human emotions and intellect. He gave Vijay access to the monastery's age-old teachings, which were much more profound than anything he had ever experienced. Vijay studied meditation, Vipassana, and the complex philosophy of the mind under Master Lee's tutelage. He discovered that becoming unemotional meant transcending and comprehending the underlying reasons of pain rather than numbing one's emotions. Meditation, introspection, and enlightening conversations with the monks occupied Vijay's days. He started to delve deeper into his own mind and face the feelings he had repressed or disregarded. Vijay discovered long-buried relationships, worries, and insecurities under Master Lee's tutelage. As Vijay confronted these feelings, he came to the realization that in order to achieve true emotional equilibrium, one needed both detachment and a deep comprehension of oneself. He found that he could guide others through their emotional landscapes with more compassion and understanding if he first acknowledged and accepted his own feelings. Vijay believed he had gained a deeper comprehension of the human mind and emotions after years of intense study and meditation. He was aware that it was time to go back to his tribe and impart his newfound knowledge. The people saw a change in Vijay after he returned. It was evident that he exuded clarity and tranquility. Eager to learn more about his adventure and the lessons he had learned, they crowded around him. Vijay talked about his time at the faraway monastery and the important teachings he had discovered. He imparted to the people the value of understanding, sensitivity, and self-awareness in attaining emotional equilibrium. The village enthusiastically accepted these teachings since they were previously familiar with his expertise. The village developed into a sanctuary of wisdom and emotional fortitude throughout time. Inspired by Vijay's adventure, the villagers gained the ability to face their own feelings and deal calmly with life's obstacles. Vijay's teachings had a profound impact on the lives of innumerable people who were looking for the way to emotional mastery. Vijay continued to mentor and uplift the villagers and anyone who came to him for advice as he got older. In Nepal and elsewhere, his legacy became a ray of hope and change. Ultimately, the world learned from Vijay's story that being emotionless did not imply denying one's humanity or repressing feelings. Rather, it meant comprehending the deep essence of emotions, accepting them with compassion, and applying that comprehension to wisely and gracefully traverse life's ever-shifting tides. It was natural that time would pass, and Vijay's body started to age. Vijay gathered the villagers under the same Bodhi tree where Master Li had taught him about emotional balance on a clear morning as the sun was shining on the village, giving it a golden glow. With serene eyes, he gazed at them and uttered, "My time here on earth is running out, my beloved friends. I've imparted all of my knowledge to you, and it makes me happy to see how wise you've become." As the villagers understood that their beloved Vijay's time with them was coming to an end, tears filled their eyes. Vijay went on, "Keep in mind that the road to inner peace and emotional equilibrium is a lifetime adventure rather than a final destination. Accept your feelings because they are the strands that make up your life's fabric, and you can achieve the calm you're looking for by having empathy and understanding." Vijay closed his eyes after saying those last words, and a calm smile appeared on his face. A solemn silence fell over the community as he exhaled his final breath. Grieving but respectful, the villagers understood that Vijay had left this world and that his spirit was now a part of the town itself. A new chapter in the village's history began with Vijay's death. They persisted in developing self-awareness, empathy, and mindfulness in accordance with his teachings. The rustling leaves of the Bodhi tree, the neighboring river's flowing waters, and the hearts of the people who were moved by Vijay's wisdom all seemed to carry his soul. Word of Vijay's life and teachings traveled much beyond the hamlet limits. To honor the guy who had attained the elusive state of being unemotional via understanding and empathy, pilgrims and seekers traveled from far and wide to the village. The community developed into a hub of learning, drawing academics, monks, and philosophers who were interested in learning the techniques of emotional control. Innumerable people were motivated to set off on their own paths of self-discovery and emotional equilibrium by Vijay's wisdom, which kept spreading throughout the world. The village itself changed throughout the course of generations. However, Vijay's legacy persisted. His tale was passed down in temples, over campfires, and in the hearts of people looking for a way to find inner peace. The community flourished as a haven for the soul as well as a location of breathtaking natural beauty. The tale of Vijay, the emotionless sage, endured as a timeless parable in the heart of Nepal. It taught individuals that understanding and embracing emotions with empathy, rather than suppressing them, was the real way to achieve emotional equilibrium. Through the techniques of mindfulness, empathy, and self-awareness, the human spirit may reach enormous heights of emotional wisdom and peace, just like the eternal Himalayan mountains, as Vijay's legacy reminded everyone. If this story inspired you, please help us out by liking it, telling your friends about it, and leaving a comment below with your thoughts or any more Zen stories you'd want to see. Additionally, remember to subscribe and click the notification bell for more inspiring and peaceful moments. Our journey is fueled by your interaction. We appreciate you joining us on this wise and enlightening journey.